Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of October 17th, 2022 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, electronic message board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. Salute to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cascio.
Here.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Here.
Councilman Sears.
Here.
Councilwoman Velez.
Here.
Council President Morgan.
Let the record reflect also in attendance Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator DeCarlo, Township Attorney Power, and Township Clerk Wachowski. Public service announcement for this evening. First, I want to commend Daisy on Town Day. Unfortunately, we had a previous commitment that we were committed to and weren't able to attend the rescheduled date. I heard it was a wonderful day, and I'm very sorry that my family and I weren't able to attend. New community alert system. Receive community information instantly. Sign up at Nixle. Nixle replaces Swift Reach. I believe the information is also on our website. Washington Avenue, Pascack intersection. Construction is slated to run through December. Work hours are 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. Motorists are advised to avoid the intersection if possible and expect some delays during these times. For the latest updates on road closures and new bus routes, please monitor the police department and township social media postings. For specific plan details, please visit our website. Township paper shredding only event will be held on Saturday, October 22nd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Bethany Community Center parking lot, 605 Pascack Road. This event is for township residents only. No plastic bags, books, binder clips, or 3-ring binders. Halloween, please visit our website for all contests and events. WCTV, could you please put up the graphic that I had sent you? So in regards to Halloween, now through October 20th is the home decorating contest. Spooky driving tour and voting is 21 to 27 winners announced on, the voting is on the October 21st through October 27th. Winners will be announced on October 28th. Also, pet costume contest. Enter now through October 20th. Voting is on October 21st through October 24th. Winner will be announced on October 25th. On October 21st for Township residents, drive-in movie night behind the Township Cinemas. The arrival time is 6 p.m. and the movie starts at 6:30. You have to pre-register for this. The link is on the our town page and the Facebook recreation page, I believe, also. On October 28th, pumpkin carving contest event. Where is that being held?
So they're going to people will carve pumpkins at home
Okay.
and then drop them off at the horseshoe.
Okay.
What's the
The
date?
28th.
28th. That's
Okay.
correct.
They need to attach their name, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay. October 31st is the community trick-or-treating event on Colonial Boulevard. I believe it's from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, please visit www.twpofwashington.us. Rabies Clinic. Our rabies clinic will be held on Saturday, November 5th from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. at the DPW, 350 Hudson Avenue. All animals must be in carriers or on leashes. Please visit our website for a listing of rabies clinic schedules for surrounding towns. Election information. October 18th is the last day to register to vote. The clerk's office will be open until 9 p.m. On October 29th through Sunday, November 6th, in-person early voting begins at 9 locations throughout the county. On November 1st is the last day to apply for a vote-by-mail ballot for the general election. November 5th, county clerk's office is open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. to apply in person for a mail-in ballot for the general election. November 7th, the last day to apply in person at the county clerk's office for general election mail-in ballot. November 8th is general election. The polls open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the next meeting of the Township Council will be held on Wednesday, November 9th, beginning at 7:30 PM due to the election. Did I miss anything? Anybody have anything else? Okay. Approval of minutes, none. Okay, we're moving on to general public comment. Limit is to 5 minutes. To participate in the general public comment portion of the meeting, please click on the link below to join the webinar. If you phone, *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute. Each person wishing to address the council should give his or her name and home address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. There is a 5-minute time limit. Speakers are to direct all questions to Council President. I'm acting Council President, so please direct questions to me. All members of the public and council are expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted, and the Council President will immediately root such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments. Motion to open the public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Would anybody like to, Mr. Hunty?
Anthony Conti, 490 Ridgewood Boulevard North. I had a conversation today with Mr. Tedesco's office. I spoke with a gentleman by the name of Peter, his assistant, who handles things like parking of the trucks and the facility behind the hospital I can't remember the name of the hospital. I know it is Bergen Pines. Newbridge, there you go. Thank you. By the way, welcome, Mr. DiCarlo. We haven't met yet. Okay, so first off, number one, Ms. Morgan did contact Mr. Tedesco's office for a solution to the parking of all the trucks and whatnot at the swim club, which we were supposed to have a Christmas tree, and, you know, all that other fancy stuff there, which I don't see happening. Mr. Tedesco did come and look at what our needs were for the parking at the county yard. There was never a formal request made to Mr. Tedesco's office for them to refuse help, or whether permanent or temporary, because I was told that they said, well, we'll help you, but temporarily. Never a formal request made, never a phone call made, never a conversation made. Mr. Tedesco is willing to help with the parking of equipment. All they need is a formal request by the township. One was never made, to Mr. Tedesco's office by email or other. All the mayor or administrator needs to do is ask. Number 5, Mr. Tedesco or Peter, his assistant, never said, if we do for the township, I will need to do for other towns. On the contrary, they want to help the township and other towns. They can. It's what they do. So in review, we, the town people, are being told untruths. They were never asked. They were never told that we would do it temporary. Nobody spoke to Mr. Tedesco's office or Peter, the associate, other than Ms. Morgan. Ms. Morgan. She had the conversation with them, and her conversation said they would help. But again, if you don't formally request it by the administrator or the mayor through an email or written form, they're not going to make a comment. And either way, a phone conversation means absolutely nothing. It has to be done formally. So, number 1 question: does the mayor and council have any intentions of reaching out to Mr. Tedesco's office by email or formal request or for a proposal of some sort to move the equipment from the swim club, which was supposed to be temporary and now is permanent, to the Bergen County parking area? That's my first question. My second question: I would like to know who will be handling the request so that I can follow up and maybe even Oprah it so that I can see how the request was formed. And the third question is, and this question is only because when I came up here originally, I was said, a few council people said to me, well, why can't we deal with Our Lady of Good Counsel? Why can't we? Well, why are you willing to go into a lease with Our Lady of Good Counsel, but not willing to work with Mr. Tedesco and the county? So those are my 3 questions.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. DeCarlo?
Yeah, I can answer most, if not all of those. Peter is relatively new in that position. I dealt with Peter's predecessor on a lot of this. I believe his name was Mark, but could be wrong. And it was done via conversations. As you mentioned in the beginning, Council President Morgan reached out to Mr. Tedesco's office. She never relayed any of that information to me that you just said. As a matter of fact, I think at the last meeting, she agreed that he said they could handle us for a short-term solution, perhaps while construction was going on. So again, I take exception to you categorizing them as untruths. It's just not the way.
Council President did actually say that Mr. Tedesco's office told her that they would help us out in a pinch. And that is operable and it's on YouTube to watch. She did say, and I believe her 100% that she said that he said it in a pinch.
Look, all I'm pointing out to the council and to the mayor is Mr. Tedesco's office as of today. Now, I don't know how long Peter's been in office, but I know he's been there long enough for Ms. Morgan to have spoken with him and said that they are more than happy and willing to help the township. Nothing about temporary.
Okay, and
No,
answer now.
but do understand that those were the comments and you can go back and watch them. I'm just clarifying.
Okay.
No, excuse me, Mr. Conti, but please let me finish. And the mayor's going to finish what he's saying, please. Thank you.
I saw what the council said, and I also had a conversation with Mr. Tedesco's office, and he said, a conversation means nothing unless it is done formally, and you receive a letter from the town.
So are they saying
from
that
the
Council
town.
President Morgan's conversation means
From-
nothing also?
Now, I let you finish, right?
Actually, you didn't, but you didn't let the mayor
Did I
finish.
let you
'Cause
finish?
You didn't let the mayor finish.
But now will you let me finish?
Mr. Conti, would you like to continue or do you want to argue?
I want to finish.
Go ahead,
You
please.
asked.
You have another 30 seconds.
Well,
your 5
To
minutes,
answer your
just saying.
question, well, to answer kind of all 3 of your questions in one quick
You're not a
sentence.
nice person. I'm telling you straight out.
I'm not going to stand on formality. If you found out that they need a request, I'll take help from any place. So the administrator and I will prepare a letter and send it off to them.
Okay, that would be great. And
Yeah.
maybe we can get the trucks out of the swim club. Would that be possible? Would that be something that you'd even entertain, Mr. Mayor?
The only thing I'm going to say is yes. However, I'd have to check with the DPW to see where the county would store it. I don't want to say, if you were told that verbally, but again, we can't say verbal counts, but it doesn't count. So I want to get more details from the county executive. Are you committing it to storing it in Paramus for when we need it? It's not, the other side of the county or something.
He verbally, he said
Right,
behind,
so
right.
we can't have it both ways. So
right. So,
we'll send the letter.
Would you be doing that with the administrator?
We'll talk about it next day or two between Mark and I.
Will somebody contact me and let me know who I need to contact to find out where it's going? Or should I just continue to call Peter?
I mean, you can do both, but
No, I would prefer to deal with the administrator.
Okay, we'll let you know. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll give you a copy of the letter when it's drafted and sent.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Anybody else have any comments? Yes. No, I asked the council, nobody had any more comments. Would someone else like to come up? Okay. No, it's okay.
Hi, everyone. Tony Plantamura, 808 Robinwood Road. I just want to make the council aware that there is a sinkhole on Robinwood Road in front of my house. This is the 3rd time in 2 years there's been sinkholes. There's a waterway, which was a lake across the street from my house. There's a sewer there. I don't know if there's something going on other than just putting a cone there. They went from a bunch of cones around the sinkhole to one, and somebody ran it over. I saw a couple of police officers drive by, nobody picked up the cone. Then I called the town, I think it was the clerk's office, and they relayed the message, and now there's a big drum out there in the middle of the street. I don't know how long it's gonna stay there, but I think there's something going on underneath the road that needs to be addressed. I'm sure the engineer, the borough engineer, can do something about that. I just didn't want it to go into the winter time when they start plowing and we still have a sinkhole there.
Do you know if it's closer to Washington or?
No, it's right, it's in the road between my front lawn and the
Okay,
812 next to me.
okay. Mr.
And it's the
DePaul?
third time that there's a sinkhole on
Okay.
Robinwood Road in that area. So something maybe menacing is going on and it should be addressed.
I'm sure, Mr. DeCarl, you have the address 812 Robinwood?
808. Yes, ma'am, we're aware of it. I saw the big barrel myself the other day when I drove by. Luckily, we found insufficient quote that was presented to us by the vendor that was going to correct the problem. So we're waiting for a revised quote to actually address the problem with backfilling it appropriately, cutting the pavement, and then repaving that section. I don't want to throw out misinformation, but I know the engineer checked and there was no determination really of any significance as to why the hole was created in the first place. But I do know that they sent a camera down there. Hopefully I'm not
Okay.
misspeaking in that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But it is set to be done. We're preparing the purchase order. We're just waiting for the contractor to revise their quote to fix it appropriately.
The other one, there was a big sinkhole last year, I think it was, or the year before, and it was by the sewer grate. Like
Yeah.
if somebody walking at night would have went right through that. So I called up on that. So I don't
Thank
know.
you.
I just thought it had something to do with what's going on underneath the road because that water, the sewers lead to that lake back there. That's now a stream.
Yes. I will follow up with the engineer. And
Okay.
just assure that, again, I'm not misspeaking as there not being a, more specific problem. But as far as I remember, there wasn't. We're just trying to get it fixed now at this point.
All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
The other thing is, I just heard, and I don't really understand, you don't really have to comment, I just don't understand why the zoning board, with all the stuff going on in town, is still meeting virtually. Is there a reason for that? You're back, school's back, the president of the United States said the pandemic's over, so why is the zoning board have carte blanche to do whatever they want and not be in person at this point?
So, Mr. Pollard, just for the zoning board, they do operate independent of the council and the mayor. So, correct, Mr. Pollard? They
Yeah,
do-
we don't have any jurisdiction to tell them how to meet or anything of the kind. They're an independent board.
Well, maybe you need some younger
Well, just
people
let
on that
Mr.
zoning board who's not afraid to meet in person, because there's
Just
a
let Mr.
serious
Pollard
issue.
finish, please. Mr. Pollard, sorry.
Yeah, no, we have no jurisdiction to tell them to meet in person or remotely. And I know there are other towns that are still meeting remotely, by the way. They're not the only ones, but it's
I
their,
hope they're not going to the shopping center, going shopping. I really don't get it. I wasn't afraid, shouldn't have taken me off the zoning board. I never wanted to stay home to begin with. I never believed in the masks or anything. Poor kids that lost all the school too. The other thing I want to bring up is this traffic, this intersection here. I know I've said it before. I don't know who else to talk to. Maybe somebody can direct me. But I look at the township now, and it's not the township I moved into. I know everything changes, but I think it was the wrong thing to do to fix this traffic intersection back down here right now, because it's just going to invite more traffic. And now I understand that there's going to be possibly a strip mall going in. I want to remind everybody, especially those of you who are at home who don't make the time to physically come to these meetings. You get people like me to speak up for you, and then you say in the Food Town Shopping Center that you're happy to see that I speak up. Well, where are you all tonight? But everybody's complaining about that intersection of the traffic, okay? My main concern is now I hear that there's going to maybe allow a strip mall going in there. How did you not know that, Mr. Mayor? Somebody knew something was going on, because this is what I know. Years ago, they tried to put a CVS there. And that was dedicated to C1 Waterway. And Grace Hogan led the charge, who passed away. to stop that because of that waterway. What happened to the waterway? Did it get moved?
Well, first of all, let me just.
I might be wrong in what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
interpreting
Well,
here.
Yeah, well, you are to a certain extent. First of all, anybody can apply to a zoning board. That has nothing to do with what's going on up here. We have nothing to do with applications. If somebody has a piece of property and they want to build a house, or they want to build a condo, or they want to build a strip mall, they want to build a gas station, they can go to the zoning board and see if they can get approval for it. It's in a residential zone. They'll have to get a use variance, but it's basically a total board-oriented thing. So, and as far as the C1 waterway, I know personally, listening to this over the years, there's been changes as to what that designation was, what the prior engineer thought it was. But bottom line is that.
That seems fishy to me.
But just hear me out, okay? Just
All right,
forget
I'll
the
hear you out.
fishiness. I'm just saying that the board will determine the status of C1 waterways or whatever waterways they're dealing with. They will deal with the zoning, they will deal with planning, they will deal with whatever there is to deal with, whatever experts they have. It's the board's decision. So that's the only thing I want to say, is that that's something that the Board of Adjustment does. It has nothing to do with this council directing or having input into it.
We don't get notifications, which I'm sure you're well aware of. We don't get notifications of any applications that go before the zoning board.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes all of a sudden somebody shows up and throws something at you, you don't even know about it.
What we don't, the thing is, that's why they operate independent of the council.
So are we gonna have access to go to those meetings?
Yes.
It's
You have to- they're all-
So the agenda is available, the agenda
In
is,
front of the zoning board?
so the
They are-
agenda is
Well, I
available.
hope they're gonna be in session by that time, because I'd like to go. I don't
So
want to be
the,
virtual.
please don't yell from the seats, please. Okay, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't keep the meeting the same as it's always been directed.
We won't get you.
No, I will. So I don't want to do that. So second of all, the zoning board agenda is available online, and in the agenda itself, there is a hyperlink to join the Zoom meeting. So, and the public attends, and you raise your hand in the meeting during whatever the section is for that application. And that's when you speak.
Well, I wish they were in person, because I'd rather speak to them in person.
Well,
Most
unfortunately,
normal people would be back in session right now. I don't know what's going on with that zoning board, but you need to get out of your houses.
so
I hope you don't
unfortunately,
catch them shopping down at the Fresh Grocer over here.
it's out of our control. They do, again, they operate completely independently of us, the council, when I say us. So the agenda is available online under the zoning board for the meeting, which is tomorrow, yes. And you can join with a hyperlink and talk during the application or the public portion. So it is available online on the township website under the zoning board.
Okay.
Okay? That's unfortunately, we have no control over the zoning board or how they operate.
I
It's not really, unfortunately, it's the way the rules are. It's the rules.
I don't know. It's just like really frustrating to watch. You got that intersection
So
down
Mrs.
there.
Platzer, your 5 minutes are actually up.
I have 34 seconds left.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Okay, well, you got that intersection going on. Then, God forbid, we get another strip mall over here.
Oh, and the application and the plans are also attached to the agenda for every single zoning board meeting and the applications that are being talked about.
Okay. And then you got the new gigantic firehouse right on Washington Avenue there. I don't know what's gonna happen, but all I know, it's like Jackie Gleason said at the honeymooners, it's like stuff in
10
a
seconds left.
10-pound bologna in a 5-pound bag. That's what, every time I see the honeymooners, I always think of this town when I think of, and all these towns. This county is really obnoxious now when it comes to the development in this county. I know you must all feel like that, but I don't feel like I get any bang for my buck over here anymore, or taxes and everything. And one more comment.
Actually, I'm sorry, your 5 minutes are up, but thank you very much.
Oh,
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I forgot to ask, does anybody have any comments or responses?
I think the firehouse looks beautiful, so I'm really proud of what that looks like.
Well, the only way I found out about the shopping center was in Pascack Press. Yeah. That little mall area was in the Pascack Press this Saturday or Sunday.
Because we don't get notified of the applications,
Hmm.
which is the
I
rule.
know we didn't get notified, but it would have been nice if we got a heads up that a big project like this is coming forward, even though they're not
But I
responsible.
think we're not supposed to that we're supposed to stay out of it, that we're supposed to stay neutral. That's the point, correct? Am I,
You're not supposed to get involved,
Mhm.
and you're not required to be notified either. If you find out, that's okay, but you're not, there's no requirement that,
I will say I did get notified because I live within so many feet of it, so just to be transparent.
So I do have a question. As a council member,
okay, yeah,
do we have an opinion
no,
at all?
not now.
No, we appoint them.
Don't talk about an application pending before the zoning board. It's creates issues.
Can we speak
No,
as a resident?
no.
It was a shot.
Anybody else? Sorry, I wanted to make sure everybody was able to comment.
Julianne Lipnick, 184 Trinity Place. First of all, that library looks better and better every single day. It is amazing. Now with the construction of the new gazebo, it is really absolutely beautiful. I bet you any money it's going to become the next hot spot to take pictures. That being said, after the meeting 2 weeks ago, I sent all of you an email. And I understand a lot of the frustration with the equipment from the DPW. And yes, parking up here is at prime real estate and really in desire to the senior citizens and police and employees. Many years ago, when the town acquired a piece of property on Washington Avenue, right next to the firehouse monument, there was a tiny little red house that was raised, and that property since dormant for as long as I can remember. Why can't we construct a small storage facility there, steel storage that we're talking about, nicely landscaped, and put some of the equipment there to free up the parking here? Piece of property is really and truly a nice sized property to house it. I know people near Sherry Field don't want it there. Swim club, it doesn't belong there either. That should be developed for other things. That being said, I'd like to know if that piece of property on Washington has been given some thought, and if it has, why can't it be a location for a storage facility? That is number one. The other is I'd like to thank the VFW for being a part of Town Day. It was a great representation. I know my husband participated, and he said that the comments that people were presenting were awesome, and he felt really and truly a lot of pride to be a member of the VFW. So that is what I have to say this evening. So if you can answer questions about that piece of property on Washington, I would be very curious.
Mr. DeCarlo, Mr. Mayor, do you have a response?
If I may just say one more thing.
Oh, sure. Well, you could do it after they respond. if you
Okay,
want.
go ahead.
Yeah, Julie, thank you. I'll be happy to respond. The parking lot will be even where the red house used to be, as I refer to it, will be paved and used for commuter parking like used to be there. From what I understand, there's not a great overwhelming desire for commuter parking right now, especially while the intersection project's going on, because the bus is no longer running through town. It stops at Hillsdale. Let me say, I'm always happy. I never close the door on anything until it's too late. So when the lot is repaved, if commuter parking is not back to where it should be, I'm happy to consider, storing some equipment there also.
That would be wonderful. Like Councilman Sears, I read the article in Pascack Press too. I have to be very honest with you. I was an employee of Township many, many years ago when you're laughing, Ken, you remember. And I do remember way back in the day when Mr. Corrigalis and his partners acquired those dilapidated homes. And his game plan at that point was to put commuter parking, allow the town to keep its revenue, and he would use that for overflow of his facility. He is in desperate need of parking. I personally would like to see that plan rather than a strip mall. I can't imagine, to me, at this point, if a strip mall went in there, you're literally sabotaging the very same intent for fixing that intersection. The intersection's fixed to take care of the overflow. Now you're going to have a strip mall there, more overflow. It's like beating a dead horse.
55
So-
seconds left, Julie.
Thank you very much. So as a resident here, I really don't think, I know this is not the proper board, but I'm not going to be available tomorrow night to even comment. So I'm going to write a letter at that point because I won't be able to participate in the meeting. Thank you.
Just want to add one thing. You mentioned the parking up here with the senior citizens. The council did receive a letter from the seniors group in town, the Golden Seniors, asking us to keep in mind that, yes, the plan is to put the DPW up here, but they are also very nervous about how that's going to affect their parking for their meetings. They sent the letter on behalf of all of the seniors. They put the letter together at the last meeting or the meeting before. They are very concerned, especially voting, coming up here to do their business. They do not want a huge DPW. They want to be able to park up here and get into the building when they can. So we did all, as the council and the administration and the mayor, receive a letter from the Golden Seniors. So, anybody have any other comments? Would anybody else like to come up?
Mary Ann Osmond, 960 Adams Place. I'm going to comment, same as my friend over there. The zoning board is not in public meeting. It's very difficult to go on a Zoom, especially a Zoom, and to hear what's going on. The last time there was a major project was the senior housing that's going up there, the assisted living housing, I don't know what the exact name of it is. It was on Zoom also. Very, very difficult for people to call in and ask questions. They can't get the questions, and it goes on and on and on. I know that the council president had said that she would, try to see about the zoning board if they would at least vote on coming back. I've heard rumors that there's a couple of people on it who are afraid of COVID, and as she says, the president has even said it's over. There's no more COVID. This is an important matter. Someone should, I don't understand why you can't have this board come back. The planning board, are they coming back? Is the planning board back?
The planning board is not back. They've
Have you voted? Have you talked on the planning board? The only reason I'm saying that is because there's 2 members here right now. And I know that, but have you talked about it on the planning board, whether you will come back or not? I mean, you're here.
I'll be more than happy to, I could tell you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yes, it was discussed. It was absolutely discussed, and the majority of
In
the,
public where I can read it in minutes.
it was discussed during the public meeting, yes.
Okay.
The majority of the board agreed. They preferred to stay remote on Zoom.
So you're telling me that, okay.
Again, the planning board also operates independent.
No, I understand.
No,
that.
I know, but I'm just answering your question, that's all.
No, I don't need your answer because I understand all of this. This is something I understand. But there's got to be at some point where the residents have a right to get in front of people and talk. It's very difficult for a lot of these seniors to get on the phone, to listen in the Zoom, and then, depends on the size screen you have, and some people are only using their phones. It's not an easy situation, and I don't understand why we're doing this. This is a very large project, which is really going to impact all of Washington Township. This is not just impacting a certain section down there. This is the entire. There are stores closed like you can't believe down at the shopping center. And they keep closing. One opens and it lasts about a year and a half. People make bets on when the certain stores are going to close. And it's a shame. It really is. I mean, nobody wants that to happen. People want to actually have that a viable place. But we really, we're going to bring in more stores that we don't know. And then it's funny, they put down liquor store in one of their, and it can't be down there. And I'm saying, why would you even put a liquor store in one of the little shops down there? You can't have a second liquor store in Township of Washington. But, this is just aggravating and upsetting residents. I just don't understand it. I do know that you can't. And I was the secretary for that board. For 17 years, I was on the board. But just remember, the next time you, the council, are picking your zoning board members, remember who you're choosing from. And you go to it. I want everybody to go tomorrow night to hear the zoning board. Nobody asks any questions. They sit there, and yes, Mr. Azzolino, wonderful engineer, I love him. He wrote a 20-page response dated 5 days ago that they got. Do you think that board is going to be knowledgeable to understand all of the things that are required? What this is two engineers discussing what they're going to do with our intersection. That's the township intersection. I mean, I'm sorry, I think something has to be done. And, and when you see all the comments online, most people are not very happy. And if they start coming to these meetings, you're going to have your hands full. I just think the zoning board should be actually going public and let them just go public. That's what I want. I want to be able to hear what they have to say. I want to hear them comment. There are no comments for the people on that board. None. You get what I shouldn't say. The council, the president, he'll comment. And then there's one other gentleman, and I won't say any names because I can't do that, who will also comment. Not any one of those people that you've put on that board make any comments. Now, when I was on the board, Tony was on the board, Diane was on the board. We asked questions. We commented.
1 minute left, Mrs. Osmond.
That's okay. I don't need it anymore.
Mrs. Osmond, so you gave me a great idea. I mean, we can't control what these boards do in terms of coming back, but as far as the age-friendly initiative, I would love to do a Zoom lesson with our seniors. So you actually gave me a great idea so that they can attend these meetings. So maybe I can put something together with the library so we can have a course for our seniors on how exactly Zoom works. So I'm going to look into that. We need to find a solution. If there are seniors that are struggling, then let's help them out until the zoning or planning board decides that they're going to come back. In the meantime, we find a solution.
And they never come back?
Well, that's out of my
Again.
hands, but I will help with what we're dealing with right now. That's all I have.
Mr. Paul, again, the boards operate independent. Yes, you're here at this council meeting, but you were on the board. It's not appropriate for us to get involved. And we're supposed to stay neutral, and that's what it is. It's three separate bodies, and that's what it's supposed to be. You could shake your head all you want. The problem is, from being on the board that there is not supposed to be influence from us up here, or the mayor, or the administrator. That's the fact. And if there was impropriety or there was influence, then we would be receiving additional negative feedback. So that's the truth.
So that's why, let's get a class together.
But I do know, because I attend obviously the planning board meetings, and I do attend some of the zoning board meetings, there are questions being asked and answered, and there is more attendance. And that's what we've received as the feedback, especially from the planning board. More people have attended the planning board meetings virtually than they have in person. So, and that's what we discussed during the planning board meeting, which you can review those comments, those minutes online. They're available.
When was this meeting?
Was it 3 meetings ago? I want to say about. I could get you which meeting it was. It was.
Yeah.
I want to say it was about 3 or 4 meetings.
That sounds about right, but I don't recall the exact one.
It was like either the last one in August or the first one in September. It wasn't that long ago. Anybody else have any other comments?
No, I think it's a great idea.
No, I think that's a great idea. Maybe you could do it during maybe the Golden Seniors would have you too, if you
Yeah.
want to go there.
Absolutely. We'll put it together.
But again, the meetings are online. The meeting agendas are online with a hyperlink to click in with the password and the code to get into the meetings are available on the township website. If anybody needs the agenda minutes and you're having trouble getting them, please reach out to someone and we will email you the agenda, right? We could do that. That wouldn't be bad, right?
Yes, that can be done.
Okay.
That can be done. It's public record. It's-
Maybe we could do that too. If somebody's having trouble, we could send them the agenda and get them the link. There's also, you don't also have to use Zoom. You can call in and listen to the meeting too. It's not just Zoom. You can actually dial in also. Would anybody else? Oh, go ahead.
I think it's good education for all of us to get a refresher on how to operate via Zoom. It's, unfortunately, it's the way of the world right now. So we gotta evolve. And let's help our seniors evolve.
Would anybody else like to come up? Mr. Ullman.
Michael Ullman, 2 Clark Avenue, here in the township. A question, understanding that you, the council and the administration can't get involved in a hearing, do they have the ability to legislate if meetings are held in person or virtually? Not disregarding, but understanding that there's currently, I believe, an executive order still in play. But if we exclude the special circumstance, does the council have the ability as the legislative body to mandate that meetings be held in person?
I don't believe so. It's interesting. I actually have a call down to DCA to have a discussion with somebody who I was given to talk about meetings in general. And I called him like twice already. I'm trying to get through myself because I'm interested in finding out some things about these meetings. But I know that we as a council, the council here does not have the authority to direct them, I don't believe, to meet in a certain way and make rules for them. But I am following up with the state to find out certain information that I do want to find out.
It would be great if you could keep us abreast of those discussions.
I'm hoping to get a return call. I haven't gotten it yet.
Yes. The next question I had is, a few meetings ago, I raised an issue about a design element that was not put in at the firehouse, the retaining wall. I was told that, or was explained that an agreement was, or a review was undertaken and it wouldn't be necessary, it wouldn't be built. Do we know if we received a change order and did we receive a credit?
Mr. DeCarlo?
Hello, Mr. Erman, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yes, unfortunately, I think you were not at the last meeting, but the council was updated. There was a work change order.
Okay.
It was provided to the council and there was a credit. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you. And just a follow-up to that, is the project currently on budget based on where we are in the schedule?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And does the budget, when we talk about, or when I ask about the budget, I am talking about the entire scope of the project. And I guess the question I have is that a correct assumption, or are we talking about just the contract that was issued? So is the contract on budget, and is the total cost of the project? Because as we know, the exhaust was outside of the contract. So when we talk about it being on budget, what does that mean? Like, what do you understand it to be? And do we know the total cost? So I think there's a number of elements here, and we're talking about budget, a contract, and cost. And do we know what each of those elements are?
You're talking about all in, close the door, put the trucks in, and then we're finished.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's what.
I just
what
want
the
to
project-
clarify for the, Mr. Mayor, Mr. DeCarlo?
Yes, the contractor part, definitely within their bid spec of their budget.
Sure.
The other costs, I am pretty sure they are within budget also, but I will find out and get word to you and the council.
Okay. And would we know what that additional budget is? So we know what the contract was awarded at. We know there's pluses and minuses due to change orders. We continually hear that it's on budget, which it really should be. It's a contract. But do we know what the number is above that five? I think it's 5.6. I don't know what the number is.
It's 5.7.
Yeah.
You know, what the incremental is above that, what that budget is and what the target we're working towards.
Would you have,
Well, the budget is whatever the council authorized us to spend on it. I can confer that, yeah, the contractor part was 5.6 in that range. I don't recall the amount that was authorized to go out to bond offhand, but I can, find that out also as part of your question.
would you have a list of the additional costs anticipated or spent up until? this-
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll
They
get
all come
that.
against those line items.
So just as a point of reference, we talk about what the council authorized for the bond. Which bonds are we talking about? Because the exhaust, again, I hate to keep coming back to that, that was done outside of
Yes,
the bonding ordinance, at least for.
it was in the
ESP.
next year, it was in the next year's budget as part
Yes.
of that capital, I believe, if I
So
remember correctly.
again, I'm just trying to understand what it really costs to build that building.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for the ordinance and the others. So we'll get that and send that out to you. So the additional plus, maybe any anticipated additional would be great. I mean, I know sometimes it's hard to see until they get in and we finalize things, but if you're aware of anything?
Correct.
Okay. So as soon as we have that, we'll forward that out and then they're going to send that to the council also.
Okay. The last.
I was just looking for the date of the subsequent amount. I have it on my computer at home, so I could forward that to you.
And if I may, just one more question. So I received a notice that work would start on the milling and paving on my block, Clark Avenue.
Okay.
And as I had raised an issue about a leak, which the mayor addressed immediately. The engineer was out the next day.
No, go ahead.
Was determined there was a leak. That hasn't been remediated as far as I know, but there's machinery on my street, and I'm just wondering,
What's going on?
yes.
Okay. Mr. DiCarlo, is the leak going to be repaired? I'm assuming the plan is to leak or whatever, and I'm not going to say it's a leak. I don't know what's under the road, so.
Yeah, I turned it over to the engineer. I know I'm just not recalling his answer, unfortunately. But let me say, I know we will not pave over that if there's still a problem there. The engineer has told me that much, I recall. I just don't remember where it stands right now, so I'll find that out also.
Sue, can you just add those things to the next agenda for follow-up too? I have a list. I'll check it with you at the end. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody from the council or the administration have any comments or questions or anything?
I do.
Okay.
Mike, your first question about government being able to change that, it took the thought right out of my head. I was already on that. I think we may have that power to do that. Obviously, Ken will look into it. I will also call the state tomorrow and find out, because I know we have no power to influence them, but we do have the power to make up those boards, as the mayor can pick the planning board, the council can pick the zoning board. So there is some things, again, that we can do, I believe. I don't think it's mandated by the state, obviously, and some things are obviously mandated that we do for different particular parts of government, as you well know. But I think it also gives the municipality some leeway on how some of those things do operate. So I'll be looking into that, but you stole my idea. It's okay. Thank you.
So just for reference, we are a hybrid. We're here, but we actually can have members hybrid if they want to be. So if someone's away or someone's not feeling well, they can still join the council meetings. And then we have attendees. So my next question to Sue, is there anybody online raising there? Is there anybody? Do you have any guests online?
Just one, and the hand is not raised.
Okay, would anybody online like to speak during public comment?
Not yet.
Somebody
No.
raise a hand, I think. Remind them.
I'm waiting for them to raise their hand, yes.
Can you remind them how to do that in case they forgot?
You click the hand.
Yeah, there's a hand.
Okay.
When you raise your hand.
I believe on Zoom it's actually a hand.
Nothing.
No,
Not-
okay.
Not Storm, so.
Okay, motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, ordinance adoption, second reading, there are none. Introduction, first reading, ordinance number 22-24, an ordinance changing certain fees for low-cost programs within the township recreation programs. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 22-24 at first reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Resolution number 22-359, authorizing publication of ordinance number 22-24 and schedule a public hearing. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Okay, resolutions and consent agenda. The following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Would anybody like any of the two resolutions removed? No? Okay. Resolution number 22-360, authorized payment of bills September 30th, 2022 to October 13th, 2022. Resolution number 22-361, authorized submission of Chapter 159 budget amendment for DMHAS Youth Leadership Grant 2022 in the amount not to exceed $4,620. Motion to approve consent agenda resolutions. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anybody need a break before we move on to conference agenda? Okay. Everybody ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Current business, administration, none. Council, ordinances and legislation. Parking ordinance, Finnerty Place. Mr. Poller, we asked for some changes, not at the last council meeting, maybe it was the last council meeting.
Well, I think the last item was that it was going to be given to the traffic division to have a recommendation, which is normally what happens
Okay,
before I do the ordinance, is we get something from the traffic division.
okay.
And it went to them this past Thursday, so obviously they haven't had time, but it is in their court right now.
Okay, so Sue, would you please just add it to the next council meeting? Thank you. Unless anybody from the council has any comments? No, I believe I recommended to extend the no parking all the way down to the end past to the library, and then on the other side where there's the yellow curb to include that in the ordinance also.
And the signs have to be no standing and no
No
parking.
parking. That was the third thing, yes. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Okay, outdoor lighting. This was Desiree's.
Yes, so I know that there was originally the outdoor lighting ordinance that was Eatontown that was given as a proposed ordinance. But I decided that I really wanted to take a look at what else was around, and I did find what I considered to be kind of better ordinances suited to our town. And I sent those over to Sue, and she's going to be sending it out to the council.
Okay,
And I think if you take a look at those, I think it fits better with Washington Township. And, so you can take a look at that and choose it or modify them, but I think they're going to be, more in keeping with the kind of town that Washington Township is.
well, Eatontown is very much commercial and
Yeah,
retail
yeah,
space,
yeah.
so.
Exactly.
I
So
mean,
I have other towns that are more residential.
I did find a ordinance under 580-38-1I, and it's on the Class AA. Exterior lighting shall be shielded to prevent glare or illumination intrusion or adjacent properties with resident use. But that was placed back when we were doing fair share housing for multi-units.
Well, what I'm talking about, it's an ordinance that's going to be town-wide,
Right.
and it deals with
Would
resident.
we fit that under that ordinance? Or
No, it'll be
It'll be a
different.
separate ordinance?
ordinance, yeah.
Thank you.
What I did like in here for Eatontown was where it talked about number 8, light trespass,
Right.
resident to resident. I think that was very clear. There wasn't a lot of gray area or should,
Yeah. Well, I think that what I think you might want to do is take a look at the ones that I'm sending,
Okay.
take a look at Eatontown, and be prepared to suggest what you'd like.
Okay.
Like a menu, yeah, one from column A, whatever.
Yeah, and because I like how they distinguish between resident to resident and business to resident. I thought that was,
Yeah, I agree.
anybody have any comments on the lighting, outdoor lighting ordinance?
How many complaints are we getting for outdoor lighting, illumination, annoyance complaints?
I only know 2. Well, 2
Right.
2 addresses, not
Okay.
not 2 complaints.
Can
2.
we,
I
can we
had
get a,
2 complaints.
can we get a police report on how many people are complaining about the lights of someone else's,
Yeah, I'll check with that and code enforcement.
Yep, because I don't think it's a big problem in Washington Township.
That's why I like, if you look at the resident to resident, Steve, it's just kind of, it can't be there shining a spotlight in your bedroom, basically.
Like I said, I haven't heard of any complaints. So,
Anybody else?
I haven't heard complaints either.
I'm sorry.
I haven't heard complaints either.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
So, but my section of town, we're so far apart from each other, so.
I think we all got an email prior to you joining the council. That was one complaint from last year,
Okay.
just so you're aware. I can forward you the email.
Not good with you.
Anybody else? Okay, the third item is amend towing ordinance 15-02 police vehicles, follow-up. I believe Mr. Pollard, this is in your court.
I did a proposed ordinance for that. It's in your packet.
I mean, I thought it was fine. I'm good with it. And anybody else?
So if you're good with it, you can introduce it to the next meeting.
Should we take a straw poll on introducing, since I'm not, you guys are sleeping? I'm sure Daisy had a busy weekend.
To say the least.
Okay, let's do a straw poll on introducing this at the next meeting.
Stacy, before you do the straw poll,
Yeah.
just for the residents, can you announce the proposed change
Sure.
to it?
Mr. Pollard, do you want to explain the change just so I don't mess it up?
Well, it just basically is trying to provide for a no charge for township vehicles that are towed within 10 miles. Not many towns have it, but there is one town I know that does have it. I mean, throughout the state, there may be more, but it's not something that's prohibited, so it is beneficial for the town. So it was basically any towing of township vehicles shall not incur an expense unless the vehicle is towed in excess of 10 miles from its place of pickup by the authorized towing company. So that's the change.
Thank you.
Doing a straw poll?
Won't be ready.
Yep. Does anybody have any more discussion?
Sure. I am not in favor, and I'll tell you why. You know, why, if someone's doing a service, that they have to do it for free just because it's a municipal thing. I understand that the township wants to save money. First of all, how often do we use them? Not too often. It's a business, and a business should not be doing stuff free just because the town requires it or wants it. That's not fair to the business person. It's a service. So we should ask any professional that we have working for Washington Township that has a contract to do free work for us, they wouldn't do it. So I don't think just because it's a towing service that they should do free work for the township. That's just my feeling. So I'm going to be voting a no for it.
Anybody else?
I mean, I don't disagree with Steve, but if we're here working for the township, then wherever we're gonna save the money, I feel that's where the focus should be. But, you know, I can agree with your thinking.
Yeah, we're here to save money, right? That's exactly right. And, you know, how much are we really going to save? How many times have we had police vehicles towed?
Well, that's a good question
Right.
to ask.
I don't think that's a huge number. You know, these people out there, you know, talking about people that go out and they risk their lives, you know, your firemen, your policemen. Well, tow truck driving is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous and hazardous profession, believe it or not. They're on busy roads, okay? One got killed last year, right in Hackensack, if you remember, on I think it was 280, right?
280.
So again, you know, someone's putting their body and life on the line to tow a vehicle, whether it's a police vehicle or another vehicle. I think they should be compensated for that particular service. It's not going to save us a ton of money.
Again, I don't disagree. However, I'm not here to advocate for those businesses. That's my only position. But I absolutely agree with your thought process.
Okay, well, thank you.
And this is going to be for companies that we are currently on the police list, correct? That's how
Yes,
this works.
these are companies that are on the rotational list. Presumably, if they're towing a township vehicle, they probably are towing another vehicle as well, I would assume. But I think you should just get a straw poll of whether you want to introduce or not.
Is it all vehicles or just police vehicles?
No, all municipal vehicles.
Okay.
Do we have an idea of how many that is?
How many vehicles we have?
No.
I'd like to
It's
point
not
out that some of our vehicles are getting older, DPW in particular. So I don't want to say it's a lot, I don't want to say it's a little, but we can save quite a bit of money because the tow to the county where we're having most of the repairs done these days is certainly within the 10 miles. And the cost to tow a heavy-duty vehicle like that does run up very quickly. So since the question was asked, I want to put it out there.
What, are we asking the vendor to eat that cost? Is that what we're basically saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's what that's exactly.
dump truck, and
That's what.
which could be hours sometimes to get it hooked up. They're dying, so they can get a towing contract. I think there's something wrong here.
Well, it's not that there's something wrong. It's up to us to say we could exclude heavies. We could exclude anything that requires a heavy tow. That could be, you know, then it could just be a regular Freightliner that would tow it instead of a heavy truck
Then that has to be placed in.
in the ordinance, but that's not a bad idea. If we don't want, I mean, if we want to save money, fine. I know that maybe we don't do it around here, but I know in other counties, it's common and it's normal
How many
practice.
towns did you find, Ken?
Well, they don't.
No,
they
no,
don't-
not in New Jersey. In Rockland County, it's standard practice. Standard practice. So we could, we could put in that a heavy is not included. Garbage trucks, whatever's over I think it's 30,000 GVWs requires a heavy.
I mean, you could just say police cars too, if you wanted to.
We could. But that's up to us. If that's what we want to ask for, then make the recommendation.
Seems like a compromise.
I mean, a heavy could take a very long time.
Well, the heavy also takes a specialized truck,
A heavy truck.
but some of these tow trucks, services don't have, so they have to rent out or call another company to bring in a bigger truck, to haul away a tow truck, so.
Well, they could say they don't have it. They could skip on the police line, they could skip the,
Stacy, in talking with the administrator, we said if it helps the council, if you want to table this, we'll recap how many towing bills we've had this year to date so far and let you know.
I agree with that.
Yes.
and maybe we could draw up a sample clause in there to put, say, excluding heavy.
Well, let's see what the numbers come back,
Yeah.
because that's important to know.
Table.
Any other recommendations for that ordinance, though, that you'd like to explore in addition to possibly police only, the exclusion of heavy vehicles, anything else that you'd like to see explored by the administration?
I mean, if you can specify how many police versus heavies.
To the extent possible, if it's on their bill, we'll
Okay.
separate them.
And then also how much the county charges us?
Well, our tow is different. The county does the work, but they don't do the
Well, how
tow.
about to get it to the county? I mean, how much it?
Yeah, that we'll recap that as a
Do
tow.
we have a contract with the towing company currently for heavy tows? Or we just go through the list that we have?
That I don't claim to know offhand, Mark. We go through a list.
Okay.
Yeah, it rotates.
And the last item is council meeting minutes review. So I stated this is the last council meeting. The planning board and the zoning board have a very nice process of the minutes are presented to the board and they're reviewed. And the question is asked, does anybody have any minutes to be changed? Quite a few times, there's minor things, but I think it helps to hold the council accountable for reviewing the minutes during that meeting to get a confirmation on the record saying that the minutes were reviewed and you sign off on them. I know some of our meetings are longer. However, I think it's a good way to make sure that the minutes are being reviewed. I'm not saying anybody's not reviewing the minutes, but it's just a simple process. It takes, correct, Mr. Mayor, takes a few minutes.
Yeah.
But it does give everybody the opportunity to say, these look good, I agree, this is what I said. What does everybody think?
Isn't that why we get them in our packet? You're supposed to read them beforehand, and then if we have a problem with it, we're supposed to,
That's all right.
no?
That's all right.
That's why we get them in the packet.
No, we have the approval on here, but there's another question added to the actual agenda that says, does anybody have anything to change? Go ahead.
So you just want to basically have it on record that the council has gotten them, they have had a chance to review them, and if there is any changes.
Changes, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand what you're looking for, too.
You know what, you've done the meeting minutes,
Nope, However, if I can ask a question, if there are any, like, again, I do put it out there before the meeting, so you do have a chance to read through them, since, of course, many of them are very lengthy. And if there is a change, I would like, to know it ahead of time before the approval, and then we could say at that point that, maybe some recommendations were made, or however you want to word that, just to keep the process going.
well, what they do actually during the meeting, correct, Mr. Mayor, they make the changes at the meeting on the document, and then they prove it subsequent, those changes being added into the record.
Well, I would like to check that first before we do that.
Okay,
If that's okay.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's just what we do now, yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
We're still in the miscellaneous, Council President.
Yeah, that's the last item for review.
May I speak about an item that the administrator sent us in a package?
It's not on the agenda, Mr. Sears.
Is that the one you got today?
Yes, it was in the
Next week?
package. Yeah, I would like to,
Mr. Poller, you have to just help me
It's
with,
not on the agenda.
yeah, we can't discuss it. I'm sorry.
You're talking about this?
what the administrator sent us as an update, I think it's important to say we can't discuss it.
Well, I mean,
I'll
was it?
make a motion
let
to
me-
suspend the rules.
Yeah, you can do that.
Can I just see what
Make a motion to
maybe,
suspend the
I
rules.
make a motion to suspend the rules, so
okay, can I just see what the topic is? Maybe someone talked about it who was at the, thank you.
it's updates on the items that the administrator has been working on.
One second, just hold it, hold it.
We have the flooding issue, and
Can I just wait
We
before you
got
start
pictures.
talking about them? Just want to see if there's anything that was already covered. Is there any specific item or all of them?
no, it's a specific item.
Okay, which items?
Okay.
Wait. First of all,
Wait, just-
you got a motion to
I know.
suspend the rules to consider it. So why don't you do that first before you?
Okay. So who, I'll
Steve
second the
Banneret.
motion.
I made a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll second. Sue?
Councilman Cassio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
All right, Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Now? Ken, now, Stacy?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Go
Oh.
ahead. You know, I'm sorry, yeah.
No,
go ahead.
that's fine. I just want to say thank you, Mark. This is the first time I've actually seen an administrator break down items within the township that we actually worked on. And we actually have some meaning behind some of the issues we're having. So thank you very much on that. But I want to bring you to number 5 on your list, please. About political signs, and you state that there is no campaign signs applications have been submitted. Could you please go to, will you please travel on Pascack Road across the street from Northgate? There's a gentleman has a 4x6 sign on his front lawn on the corner. And it is definitely a large campaign sign.
I'm aware of that one.
Where, could you just describe the location again, sir?
It's across from Northgate.
It's across from Northgate, the entrance, right on the corner house.
Is that
And
Lee Terrace? Lee Terrace?
No, it's, I think it's Lee Terrace, yes.
Yeah.
It goes-
I just heard about that today myself.
Okay, so if you
And
could
it-
get the code official there,
Yes, he's
thank you.
addressing that one.
And the other item that I want to, about flood concerns, the engineer actually gave us a picture of where the stream is clogged. Actually, the DPW knew about that clog, we just can't get a crane back there.